ready for another lesson?
No, outside of that, anything else new for anybody else? No Adam today.
Just trying to think. Yeah.
Right? So
Are we
first time?
we
I think it's
kicking-
going to be us three with no Adam.
I was gonna say, are we just gonna kick it off? Should we just open it up? Nice and easy like this. I think so.
Yeah. So
I'm down.
It's a bit looser
First
of an
time.
episode.
Yeah. First time without our guy,
Is it the first time?
the head honcho. Some would argue. I think so. I don't think we've
I'm
recorded
pretty
without
sure. I don't think he's missed. I think
Okay.
every time he's
It's
been
been
able
somebody else.
to miss it, we've been.
Yeah.
We just. It was like a mutual like, yeah, we won't record this week.
Right.
Like, so.
All right. Wonder who holds the record then. I think it's me.
For most apps.
Yeah, I think that puts me in the lead at this point. Or has Tyler has been on everyone, or Blake?
No, because I
Blake
missed,
and I have for sure missed some.
Yeah, I want to say I've missed about 3. I'd say
think
3 to 4.
Yeah, I'd say I'm probably like 2.
I'm gonna fulfill my role
maybe 3
as humble brag master's degree guy and say I've taken the lead here.
Have you missed one yet, Nathaniel, or no?
No, I haven't. I don't think. Not the.
Okay.
Besides one that we haven't done Again, all agreed. We're just not doing it this week or anything. Like I don't think I've missed.
Okay, right.
An actual one yet. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just straight up forgetting one, and maybe this is super embarrassing when everyone's like, "Hey, idiot, you missed episode 131, jackass."
I didn't see shit.
But anyways, yes, we are here. It's me, Blake, Tyler. We're all we're hanging out. This is Back Row Banter, an even more casual movie talk podcast this week without Adam. Who I think got to the movie, but just had to get to an emergency call at work, basically, and just didn't.
Yeah, some scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, it didn't end up working out. So we're here
now. This wasn't his first view, though, right? I think I'm the only person who's never seen this.
I swear, yeah. Now, did you recommend this recently? Am I remembering this correctly? You requested this, or did Adam just decide we need to see this?
I don't know. I think it somehow made its way to the short list. I can't quite figure out how.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, I don't remember either. And then I think it was just one of those pick a number 1 through 12, and somebody said 6.
Okay, and then we rolled a die figuratively.
Yep.
All right.
And here we are.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna talk about it casually. Normally you get a fancy intro and a whole bunch of other stuff, but we don't have Adam this week, so we're loose cannons. We don't even have nicknames.
No.
We're a trio of talkers.
Napoleon, Nathaniel.
Oh, whoa, yeah, great.
Yep.
What's the llama's name? Or the alpaca?
Tina.
It's an alpaca, right?
Tina Tyler.
That's what it is.
Tina Tyler, and then Big Dynamite Blake.
Boom.
There we go.
Bam. Suck it.
And was that
easy,
actually,
folks.
and for clarification, that was an alpaca though, right? Or was that a llama?
I think it's a llama.
Does anyone
I
know the
honestly
difference?
don't really know the major differences. So
think
it was a llama.
I think alpacas are fluffier.
Sure.
Yeah, I really don't know. You know what? We'll do a quick Google search.
Oh, speaking of which, our newest segment, Can You Fight? Can you fight a llama?
that
yes,
is a good.
Yes,
You
you
think
can.
so? I don't
think
know,
so.
bro.
You got a big neck. I'm throw chopping you real quick, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
So,
immediate neck
you know-
attack.
you know-
Here's some info real quick. Fellas. Alpacas are smaller, so I think that was an alpaca in the movie, right? So alpacas are about, I'd say they're ballparking about 150 pounds. Llamas are much larger. They're ballparking about 280 pounds.
Damn.
Yeah, 200. That's a big
And
thing. And it's gonna rear
I don't
back,
think
right?
I'm comfortable.
If you're charging at
Yeah.
it, trying to neck chop it, it's gonna get its neck out the way. I'm sure, right?
Well, so you know how Jake Sully takes on the the flying thing. He wraps the thing around it, and then he like puts it in like a headlock with his feet. That's kind of what I'm going for.
You're referencing the smash hit Avatar?
Yeah, Avatar: Last Airbender.
No, not that one.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
I hear Avatar and I immediately think of Last Airbender.
Avatar 2, Too Wet, Too Blue.
So yeah, if it's an alpaca, I'm down. But if it's a llama, I might have to second guess myself.
Yeah, I think for the new segment, right? I mean, it comes down to I don't know, man. I would already caution that I don't think I'm comfortable taking on any animal greater than 200 pounds. That's just a lot of weight.
That's
and
just the general rule.
They're throwing that around. That's a lot of muscle. Yeah, I don't think I'm comfortable taking any animal north of 200 pounds.
There we go. That's been our new minute-long segment, Can You Fight? Where we pick a random animal. It's just a single animal, and we ask each other, could you fight it? And the catch is it has to be under a minute. Was we under a minute? No, but that's okay.
So what are you taking though, Nathaniel? Do you think you can?
No, I can't fight a llama. No, an alpaca maybe. Maybe I can. I might be able to trip up one of its legs or something.
Yeah.
A llama though, I fear a llama in the same way I fear a big bird, like an ostrich or something like that. It's something it's like how Tyler said with the long necks. It's weird. I don't feel like I could get good range on it.
Ostriches, I don't think I would. Those got big talons and they'll pack
I'm
you.
not fighting an ostrich. I'm with Tyler.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
I'm definitely not getting kicked by a fucking horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the listeners, for context, right? So there was 4 different animals, right? And you basically kind of had to pick them to survive, or pick them to fight and see your chances of survival.
Pick your method of pain.
Yeah. And what was it? It was kicked by a horse. It was
a hand in a piranha tank for 10 seconds.
Yep.
Bitten
by a crocodile.
And your hand's bleeding or whatever.
Right. Bitten by a crocodile or an alligator, interchangeable. Whatever.
But your friends can help you once you've been bitten.
Right. To unlodge yourself.
Right.
And then the last one was, I think it was fight 2 ostriches, not 1.
Yes, fight 2 ostriches, which, no, I'm not getting out of that. Like, I'm dying.
No. Yeah, that's
tough.
tough.
Yeah, so we kind of bounced some ideas around in our group chat on Instagram, and I think Nathaniel effectively had the best answer, where he's like, I think I'm taking the 10 seconds in the piranha tank.
Yeah, that's it.
But aren't piranhas pretty large?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, they're big.
You're losing your hand.
I don't think you are. Like, I don't
watch a YouTube video, and I promise you, they will fucking swarm. It's not one; it's all of them.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Is like, I think that's misinfo. Like, I don't think that's real. I don't think they're that fast.
Watch YouTube videos. They'll literally tear apart like a piece of raw chicken in like fucking seconds.
I don't know though.
You think it's fabricated?
I think so.
Fabricated YouTube videos.
I think this is Big Piranha. I think Big Piranha's lying to you. I think like no.
So,
the other thing is, I think if I'm cool enough about it, I could make sure they don't. Like I have it in my head that I could hypnotize the piranhas. You know.
All right. I said crocodile.
Yeah, because your theory
just
is
bite me. Yeah,
your theory
as long
is
as there's no death roll
on you. Yeah.
No,
and
yeah,
that was
as long as there's no death roll written into the clause, then I'm fine. I'll take it.
Yeah, I effectively don't really think there's a good option out of any of these. Right. So you have to kind of go in with that. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think my first bet was like it's got to be the ostriches. But then now that I'm looking at the size of ostriches, fellas, the average size of an ostrich,
yeah, they're huge.
Is 290 pounds.
Dude, it's a dinosaur.
300. Let's call it 300.
It's a dinosaur.
You're right. You're fighting. Yeah, I'm not fighting 2 birds that weigh 300 pounds. So I don't know. But then piranhas, it's showing that the piranha size is usually about 12 to 16 inches. That's a pretty big fish, man.
How big is this fish tank though? Maybe it's only like a 2-foot tank. So like they can't get around to your hand. You can just sandwich it in between 2 of them.
Okay, right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think I got to roll with Nathaniel. Close one is Tyler's take.
I was gonna
on
say
just taking the actual bite from the crocodile.
That's my thing though. Is it biting? Is it biting you like in the leg? Because can't they just like snap a leg?
That's what I'm saying. The bite force on those things is pretty fun.
Whatever, you got a broken leg.
Well, that's the same thing as having like a screwed up hand, though. At the end of the day, I feel like not like I'm talking like a flesh wound. It's not like I'm missing like worst case scenario. I think you lose a couple fingers.
Yeah,
it's 10 seconds.
You want to be that creepy guy who's missing fingers, though?
If I get cool ones, cool like bionic Iron Man ones, maybe.
right. Or you can just be like amputated from like elbow down, which like
right
might be a little more palatable depending on what you're doing.
Or like I'm telling you, like
Who knows?
Crush your leg, you might not get that back.
Nonetheless, it seems like the horse kick is obviously
horse kick's death. Like,
right.
Like I know people have been.
Cannot be the answer.
I know people have like obviously survived being kicked by a horse, but every time anyone that like talks about being kicked by a horse, it's changed them. Like no one comes out good out of that. They're like, oh yeah, he was cool till he got kicked by a horse, or they're dead.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Yeah, I'm with you. We'll have a stay tuned, listeners. We'll have a new batch next week to see what we'll take on.
All right, but yeah, what we're doing here is we're talking movies, and the way the review segment works here on Back Row Banter is it is split into two sections. Excuse me. There's the non-spoiler section, and then there's the spoiler section. We're gonna keep it pretty light this week. We're talking Napoleon Dynamite, came out in 2004. Yeah, we'll go over who was in it and kind of probably talk our reactions to it. I think Blake said this was the first time that he has seen this one. And
yeah, man.
Then we'll have spoilers marked. We'll play a spoiler noise. Well, I don't know if there's much to spoil in this one. And yeah, we'll go from there. Tyler, I imagine you and I were the first ones to come across this, seeing as Blake has not seen this one.
Yeah, when was this? 2011 or something like that?
No, 2004, bro.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I thought 2011. Yeah, so this was like probably like freshman year of high school, and so yeah, this was pretty big for like my class. Everybody so like this movie's like a love and a hate.
Yeah.
There really is no in between.
Yeah, for 7th grade Nathaniel, when this came out, growing up in Arizona, which is not very indicative of Midwest, or like rural Idaho, as maybe Illinois is more similar in a lot of ways. There was some 100%. Other stuff going on there as well too that you just didn't relate to as well, I would imagine.
Which I could imagine.
Yeah, but regardless, it was like a phenomenon when it came out. Like I remember. Again, I was in 7th grade, and it was one of those movies where even as a 7th grader, I was like, pay attention. This movie is coming out now. People are talking about it. Someone's older brother had heard about it or something like that. In the same way as like Borat at the time, I feel like there were equal levels of like hype around them, you know? Right. So yeah, this is Napoleon Dynamite, came out 2004. It's directed by Jared Hess. Its writers are Jared Hess and Jerusha Hess. I understand they are a couple, I believe. Let's make sure they're not brother and sister. Nope, they are husband and wife. Good. And didn't want that out there. It's starring John Heder as Napoleon Dynamite, Efren Ramirez as Pedro. I'd say John Grace as Uncle Rico, Aaron Ruel as Kip, and let's go Sandy Martin. Oh, Tina Margarino as Deb is probably the main cast overall, with a couple other cameos of moderately famous people in there, I would say as well.
I agree.
The IMDb summary goes as follows. A listless and alienated teenager decides to help his new friend win the class presidency in their small Western high school while he must deal with his bizarre family life back home. How do you feel about it, fellas?
Yeah, I would say that's about fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
with you. This is one of those movies that's pretty hard to kind of set up anyway.
Yeah, it is.
So.
Right. It just is Napoleon Dynamite, right?
Yep.
So Blake, it's coming in fresh. Having never seen this one, was there a reason you avoided it? Was it just a casual miss for you, or was it one that just slipped through the cracks in some ways?
Yeah, I don't think there was necessarily a reason for avoiding it. I think it's something I just kind of never got around to.
Sure.
Um,
Well, this was
certainly
popular.
aware.
You were watching horror movies and
Right. I was at a different wavelength when this came out. I was what, 11, 9?
Yeah.
And I think that's the time where like this comes out in theaters and what is 03, 04?
04, yep.
Right? Yeah, I think I'm going to watch like 28 Days Later with my dad.
Right.
Yeah, strange guy, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I was going on and watching. But yeah, more so, I mean, no exact reason I missed it. Definitely aware of what it is just through like pop culture references.
Sure.
So there's a lot of times where I caught myself watching this movie and I was like, oh, that's from this movie. You know what I mean? It's kind of like there's way too many of those. So that was pretty cool. I mean, I do think it's effectively a product of its time though. Like I wish this is something like I could have saw in like middle school.
Sure.
Right, to kind of have the nostalgia to lean back on, because yeah, it's a little different of a film, quote unquote. Definitely a product of its time, with kind of like I feel like you don't get these types of movies anymore, like the really low budget, quote unquote nerdy isolated kid in a small rural town. Like films just aren't made like this anymore, right? Like if you're getting like the high school comedy, it's like raunchy now. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll share some thoughts for it, deep dive. But yeah, I don't want to say it's something I'll never watch again. I would say I'm glad I watched it, right? To kind of be a part of that club and like check it off my movie list. But like, I just don't have the nostalgia tie back to it for me to be like, oh man, like I love this movie, you know? So yeah, that's kind of my quick spiel. But yeah, like I said, a lot of talking points, that stuff I totally forgot even existed in terms of like memes and pop culture, and like taking myself back to like middle school and seeing like vote for Pedro shirts.
Right.
Like that shit I forgot was from this movie. Like, you know what I mean? To be transparent, where I was like, oh shit, that is from this. So yeah, there's cool, a lot of cool stuff like that. Definitely goes back and kind of brings up some memories of younger me. So yeah. I'll pass it to somebody else on. We'll deep dive it. But yeah, how is it for you two? I'm sure this is one that you guys have obviously stated you caught like in real time for the most part, right? Either in theaters or previous years. Is this something like you actually go back and watch every 3 to 4 years for the nostalgia, or is it like I actually haven't seen this in 10 years?
Definitely more of the latter for me.
Okay, right.
I can remember when it came out. I think I went like. Well, it was one of the ones that I like bought on DVD, like without having seen the movie. I just like knew,
right. So
like it was the It comedy. It came out on DVD. I was like, all right, I'll pony up.
So when do you think you got to this? And do you think you got to this what, like 05, 06?
I think maybe it came out 04. I might have seen it the following summer or something like that, when it used to take movies like 6 months to come out on DVD or whatever after they'd be in theater.
Yeah.
And so and then I watched it probably in that like kind of first wave after that, when it was going, what things used to go before they went viral, when it went word of mouth around. So yeah, and I think even at that time I probably watched it maybe like 5 or 6 times then, but then I don't think I've watched it since then at that time.
Okay. So yeah, so
overall.
you're some years out.
Yeah. I think it's probably been 10 years since I've watched this, maybe. Tyler.
So what about like okay, yeah, go ahead, Ty. Then I'll have a question for both of you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me. I had not watched this movie in a while, and actually when I first saw this movie, I just did not care for it. I didn't really get it, and I didn't want to get it. Like, it was just kind of one of those movies that I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I kind of don't know like what the fuck I just watched, and I kind of don't care. And like, yeah, there were some funny parts, but I mean, dude, we had like people like doing the dance.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing.
At the end of the movie. So yeah, this thing caught a cult following pretty quick, and I think it still does kind of have that. And I think I probably watched this the last 7-8 years ago, if not more.
Sure.
And excuse me. And yeah, I think it's definitely something that I have a little bit more of an appreciation for. But it's still not one of those things where I'm like, dude, I love it, I have to go back and watch it. So yeah, it's just it's out there. I definitely have a lot more respect for it. I it's weird to say I understand it a little bit more because there really isn't anything to understand. And if you've seen it, you get it. But if you are a movie lover, there are things to appreciate about it. Especially if you like a lot of Wes Anderson stuff. I think you get quite a bit of kind of his stylization in this movie. And yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Fair.
And I would say, like, yeah, I don't think I would say that like I got a better appreciation for it, but I just grew up, and now like watching it again, like you relate to it from a different point of view, right? Like almost like what Blake is saying. Like whereas when I first saw this, I wasn't in high school yet, and now looking back on it, having gone through high school and college and everything else, now looking back at it, you see the whole thing differently overall. But yeah, it's just kind of that. Tyler pointed out Wes Anderson. I would say like even like the kind of mumblecore movement of the mid to late thousands, where it was just people finally had access to studio grade cameras and could shoot stuff for. I think they made this for like $400,000.
Yeah,
and then like
right.
you could go and sell it to a film festival and just have the chance that it goes completely nationwide or whatever, and then you can make Nacho Libre. But I think that's different, and definitely, as like Blake said, of an era. You could definitely feel that now, and even this feels weird too, because it's like you don't really know when it's set. Overall, it could almost be set in like 2004 in this really small town where there's just no one has a cell phone yet or anything like that, and things are kind of 10 years earlier, or it could be at least like 1995. Like no one really knows. The only thing we know is that Uncle Rico's trying to get back to 82, but other than that, we don't really know what year it is. But yeah, I think well, I'd say I'm gonna recommend with like a caveat now, but I feel like almost enough time has passed for like the kids to get into this now. Like it's gonna don't be mistaken if this goes crazy on TikTok in the next year or two or something. Like I feel like we're almost at the we'd be at the 20-year cycle, because this came out in 2004. Yeah.
I guess kind of question for you two though. Like, can any of you talk on like your first viewing experience for this? So Nathaniel, you said you caught it like via DVD a few years later. Is this something you watch with like friends? Is this something you just convinced your parents to buy from like Blockbuster and like sit on the couch in the living room and watch? Or like, what's the
I would have said,
the deal with that?
Like at this time, I would have been buying my own movies just with like cash or like what I earned doing odd jobs or something like that. So it was probably one I just bought myself, and then I used to have a portable DVD player, and I would just watch movies in my room at that point, and that was how I kind of consumed a bunch of movies back when our house only had like one TV in it or anything like that, and you had to kind of make do. But yeah, I would say it was one of those ones where like I watched it, and I want to say even when I first watched it, it was almost my first exposure to kind of like that anti-comedy, almost cringe comedy like version of it. Very deadpan, very just kind of dry. And I want to say like the first time I like watched it, I didn't get it, similar to like what Tyler was saying. But then it was also one of those ones that you just found yourself quoting like a week later. Like there would just be something that stuck into your head, and you would just see it, and then like showing it to my parents, and they were kind of like, "Oh well, there's nothing offensive about this, but I don't find it very funny." But then, like, you know, still to this day, like, we could say, "Oh, you're bruising my neck meat," and like, they just know exactly what that means, and like, that is a funny joke to us now. So it was one of those things where I think it does have its phenomenon status, does speak to like having this weird staying power, and now, like, again, it is just starting to get nostalgic and that kind of thing. And again, I think there are some really good like performances where guys are just going for broke in this one, particularly Uncle Rico. He's just so creepy and so weird, and like the way he says Napoleon really cracks Napoleon. Like, it's just, yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah. Ty, what about you? What was your first viewing experience? Do you think this is something you caught in theaters?
Yeah, it is. It was like a group of friends that went freshman year, so people are still like getting dropped off by parents, and we had like a pretty cool theater in town, and it was four theaters, but it was fun. Everybody kind of, you know, meets outside, and then there's, you know, things to do on the square, which is where the movie theater is at, and so it was one of those things where people are quoting things immediately after the movie.
Right.
And, you know, you also have some, you know, girls that were part of the group or something like that were just like, this is fucking dumb. Like, what the fuck?
right.
So,
Very polarizing at that age.
100%. So, yeah, it was definitely something that stood out right away to kind of that age group that we were in. But yeah, you know, it was fun. It was chill.
Yeah.
But I can't vividly remember it. It's not like, you know, something that'll stick with me like Lord of the Rings will for the rest of my life.
Sure.
As far as like what my first viewing experience was, and like what that did for me as far as like the power of film and nostalgia and stuff like that. But definitely one of those movies that I know for a fact we saw in theaters and hung out like around the square afterwards for sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I'm going to play a spoiler noise here, and we'll get into spoilers.
Well, are you shooting a recommend? I don't know if we went around.
Yeah, that's what we're finding out right now. I think I'm a recommend still. I would say I would be very curious. Again, someone coming into it,
right?
I want to say like I'd be very curious to like what a person in high school or something would think of it nowadays as well.
Right.
Too.
So not necessarily because like I effectively didn't see it, but I didn't go in blind.
Right.
Because I was basically there like during the time. Right. So like you're saying somebody who's like, I don't even know what Napoleon Dynamite is.
Right. Yeah. They haven't really heard the references or anything like that, or like gone through all of their friends' shitty Napoleon impersonations or anything like that for 20 years. Yeah, I'd be very interested to see what that would be as well too. But I am a recommend. I think it's fun.
I'm also a recommend.
Yeah. Fuck, fellas. I don't know. I don't. To be clear, a not recommend does not mean I think a film is bad, right? And I shouldn't have to say that to voice my opinion. But I would probably lean on not recommend.
That's fine.
And I think that's just more so because I don't know how much this brings. I don't know how much value this brings to people who weren't there for the time.
Yeah.
Right. Because like I was there for the time, quote unquote, and like I still was kind of like, oh, like I wish I would have saw this 15 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just so I can actually appreciate it better. So yeah, I don't know how somebody would take it who's like, I don't even know what the fuck Napoleon Dynamite is, and just like popped it in on Hulu.
Right. Well, so you're going for not recommend then?
Yeah, I think I'd probably lean on that one.
All right. That puts us at 2 recommends, 1 not recommend. We don't know what Adam's one would be, but
we don't.
He said he might message us his ranking so we can find out where it is on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched in the podcast rank. So even if you don't want to have this spoiled for you, which it's been out for 20 years, and again, tough to spoil, but we'll give you a little time here, and I'll play a spoiler noise. And if you want to come back after that, check the show notes. spoilers. Shit goes down.
And if I had to guess, I would think that Adam is probably a recommend on this.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, this is the one of the ones he said he watched like growing up a lot. Because I mean, I would imagine, having older brothers and him being like 4 when this came out. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Because there's not really anything very offensive in this movie. Like, I don't even know. Well, he does call someone or something R-worded, but other than that, I don't think there's much swearing in it at all.
No. No.
And there's the boob grow herbal enhancers, which is a plot line I completely forgot about. And like, is it really a thing? Just because I don't think they ever like fully address it in dialogue. It's just kind of like you just see the flyers and it's kind of hinted at. But yeah, it's a weird bit of plot line I've forgotten about since the 10 years I've seen this.
I would agree.
But I guess, big spoiler is Pedro wins the presidency, man, through the power of dance.
Pedro does win. He does indeed.
So I have to imagine, like, you had at least 2 or 3 moves from the Napoleon Dynamite dance memorized and choreographed. Right?
I think everybody did.
At least one, right? You could do something.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of like structure, there's a very loose one here. It's almost just like it's almost just kind of 6 weeks in the life of Napoleon Dynamite, who's a high school student. It's very funny because he's, again, rewatching this, he's clearly like 28, and then you see the main cast is clearly in their mid-20s to early 30s, and then like the rest of everyone in the movie is clearly a high schooler. Like they're actually 17 or something like that, just the extras and everything. But yeah, he's a weird high schooler, kind of a character. And then he decides to help his buddy win the presidency at the local school, and he does. And somewhere in there, they go to a dance, and his grandma breaks her coccyx. We were just talking, Blake, about how the movie doesn't really have like a common 3-act plot structure or anything like that. It's just kind of meandering and kind of just a couple of weeks in the life of.
Yeah, so like that's something I kind of picked up on watching it, where it almost, it's strange, even almost kind of echo like the It Follows review last week, where like it's weird, it's kind of difficult to tell like when this takes place, because like
Sure.
I think it shows like his student ID in the beginning.
Okay,
which is
yeah,
like similar
yeah.
to the years of like the actual movie release.
Yeah, that
But
would
then
make
like
sense.
nothing about it seems like 2004. Now, granted, I was a young child, or an old child, quote unquote, whatever,
Right.
9-10 years old at that time, right? But I was like, why does this look like 1985? Right now, maybe that's just a
Yeah.
product of them being in small town Idaho.
I think that's
You know?
it. And I
it's
think it's just
kinda
like,
behind.
and it's just like it's shot on film too, and like it's clearly
Yeah.
like they didn't have a lot of money, so it uses really naturalistic lighting as well too, and like I think I think that's all tied up into it, in some ways.
Yeah. So yeah, I was kind of like, oh, this is a little all over the place, but I think that's what makes, for a lack of a better term, that's what makes Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Between that and like the kind of the deadpan comedies, or comedic undertones and stuff, where I guess for starters, I'm not really a large fan of that in general at this age.
Sure.
But I guess that was, or not even I guess, I could see how that was incredibly impactful, like on pop culture 20 years ago.
Right.
Right. This has got to be one of the first of those, right? To my understanding.
I would say like mainstream for sure. There's probably indie stuff that they were doing at that time, like that,
Right.
we don't know about or whatever. But yeah, no,
Mhm.
that was definitely like, oh, this feels very different, to the point where I think this just like pigeonholed Sean Heater's entire career. Like he's never been able to escape this character at all.
No.
Right. Yeah. Which was interesting, kind of reading up on the film afterwards. Yeah, and kind of about how it's John, right? That's his
Yeah.
first name, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John Hader or Header.
Yeah, and kind of the shortcomings he's come about that, but yeah, we can touch on that later. But yeah, more so just kind of my stance, like yeah, kind of time period where it's placed, deadpan, comedic. Then like the good parts that I do want to point out, is that with it not having those standard 3 acts, it kind of makes it engaging to watch because it's kind of just like, well, like I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen next.
Right,
You know,
right.
it's like one of those things, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like just an adventure for lack of a better term. And like I said earlier, there's so many scenes. Like honestly, there were probably 8+ scenes that I watched, and I was just like, oh, that's from this.
Yeah, that's
right?
that's
And
what
the
every
first
one of these has been referencing is from
Yes.
this. Yeah.
Right, and the first one that hit me is the fucking alpaca when he's feeding alpaca.
Yeah, Tina, you
And he's
fat
like,
lard.
Tina, you fat lard, come get your dinner. And then that's when I was like, oh my God, that's from this movie. Like I've heard it countless times, and like I guess I've seen like the clips and stuff
Yeah.
in like pop culture, but it just didn't connect the dots, right? And then I was like, oh, I think I'm in for a treat for this one. So yeah, like between that, the vote for Pedro shirts, the fucking putting the tater, like, are you going to eat your tots?
Yeah, yeah.
The obsession with tater tots, just all stuff that like instantly took me back to like 4th grade, 5th grade, right? And the stuff that people would do.
Yeah, it was definitely on this rewatch. There was different things that definitely got me. One of which was the Tupperware business, and then like the scene where he's like, "Well, if you get this 24-piece set, you also get," and he pulls out the model boat, and then the lady just goes, "I want that." And like just having been on the sales side of that now, where you're like you have some piece of shit thing that you're selling, but like just because there's a free Echo Dot or whatever, people are like immediately like, well, now I'll buy it. Yeah. Like,
right.
and it's just the 2004 version of that. Yeah. And then a lot of the Uncle Rico stuff I thought was just hilarious as well too, like him grabbing the steak and throwing it
Fucking chucking it at him.
across the yard. It's just like, why is any of this happening? Why doesn't he then throw a grapefruit at his van later? But yeah, it's got that weird, as Blake said, like, well, I want to see what happens next, I guess.
Yeah, it's a weird one for sure, and it kind of just breaks algorithms and molds, and it doesn't really give you a chance to think about it too much. It just kind of is what it is, but that's why it's so appealing to so many people.
Well, and like I think it benefits from that you just don't know who any of these people are. And you're like, are these actors? Are these people? Do they find crazy people and they're just really good at acting? Like, what is happening here at any given time? Like, then there'll be a random 3 minutes of the farm judging fair or whatever for no apparent reason.
Milk.
Yeah. And this one got into
This
an
one's
onion
got
patch.
bleach in it.
Yeah, which was, I was like, what? That's a wild joke to just have in there at one point in this movie. Yeah, I thought I don't know. It is interesting to see who has come out of this as famous, who hasn't, who has gone on to do other things, who has just kind of trapped here.
I don't think I know too many people from this.
I mean, honestly
I
think,
guess maybe they're obviously much younger, but like I don't fucking know anybody from this.
No, I think it's really just kind of like Uncle Rico. Like I've seen him in other things, just like kind of around other side projects and stuff. And I was looking it up. It looks like Deb has just been kind of continued to work as an actress, and actually LaFonda as well too has been working a lot as well, but not in anything that I've watched.
Okay, so yeah, Uncle Rico is actually in all 3 Takens. Are there only 3 Takens?
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so it looks like he's in 3 of them, the first 3.
Okay.
So, and I don't think I would have put that one together without double checking. And yeah, I don't think anyone else in this is ringing a bell. So that was kind of interesting because usually you watch films like this that are such pop culture icons that you miss,
Right.
and you'll watch and you'll be like, oh, I didn't know so and so was in this, and like I effectively didn't have that realization.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It is just like this was it.
No. One thing I did notice that was kind of strange, and I guess I noted kind of immediately once I put it on, is I think this is PG.
Yep.
Which was like mind blowing to me. I would have sworn this would be like a PG-13 movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I guess just different times, right? I feel like if the high school raunchy comedy is made now, it's definitely a PG-13 movie.
Well, that's what we were saying. Like, I don't think there's really any cursing in this or anything like.
No.
Right.
No, not at all. Yeah, there's not really any cursing. There's just
And
not,
besides the
mean-
the bust must like joke, which is again mainly you have to like read it more, and it's implied more
Right.
than it is talked about. Like, there's nothing really
right.
untoward about it or anything like that.
Yeah, right. There's not a lot of like racial undertones or jokes or even things that are like homophobic, which is like good, right?
Right.
In hindsight, but just not common for you to come across like a 2004 comedy that doesn't have any of those things in it.
Yeah, what you're saying, they definitely dropped an R word, but other than that, like it's
Right. That was the only one I was kind of like, oh.
yeah,
All right.
forgot about that one. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and even the like it's weird. It was fun to watch it and be like, oh, weirdly, the LaFonda character is not played for like laughs or anything. It's just like, oh no, this is just a sweet woman that Kip has met online and is apparently very
Yeah.
good for him. Like rewatching this, I was like,
Right.
oh man, this could go bad. I don't exactly remember the end of this movie. What is going to? But
Mhm.
I do remember this story beat. And also on that, I don't remember Uncle Rico being as creepy as he is in this one as well.
That was
too.
the one thing that towards like Deb, I was like, this could get a little creepy here. But the LaFonda thing, I always knew that wasn't. I remember that's where they weren't going with that, so I wasn't too worried about that. I don't remember him spelling her name like that.
Yeah.
And when he's holding up the sign, I'm just like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah, and I remember the idea of actual physical mixtapes as well too. Like, oh yeah, my cousin
yeah,
made this.
100%.
You might like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Pedro's cousin's picking up Napoleon
Yeah, that's
for the dance in the lowrider.
still one of my favorite jokes when he's like, "Are you guys Pedro's cousins?" And yeah, absolutely, of course they are. Pedro offers you his protection.
Yeah, it's got some good beats to it for sure. Yeah. Pleasant.
Definitely a movie
I
you
would
don't
say
have to think about.
no, for sure. And I think the runtime was under 2, right?
Right.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's like an hour and a
Yeah.
half, something like
Yeah,
that.
so I
Hour and
thought.
40 maybe.
But to Blake's point
But you
earlier,
definitely fly through it.
it's one of those ones where I'm like, okay, I'm glad I got to, revisit it 20 years later since it's come out, but I don't know if I need to watch it again ever necessarily,
Yeah, it'll be another minute before I watch it again
But-
for sure.
Like if we went with the classic, if I woke up in a movie theater and it was playing, I would probably stay to watch the end of it and, go out after that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if I'd agree with you on that one, right? If this popped up, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'd sit there for the hour and change.
Well, with that being said, should we rank it up on the entropy list?
Let me give it a shot.
All right.
Put her up there.
Did we collect Adam's ranking by chance, fellas?
We did
Did
not.
Do not think he sent it to us. No,
I'll shoot him a text.
we are pausing for station identification. You're
Do you want
listening.
to timestamp it, or do you want me to fill?
Smooth Jazz 99.9 KYOT. The Coyote.
The Coyote.
Should we read Adam's quick rundown aloud?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and whatever else you identify. Here's Adam's review. This movie hasn't aged all that well. The nostalgia I have for it still makes me. The movie does a great job at showing you what it's like to grow up in a small town, which is an experience I didn't have, but feel like I understand because of this film. Jokes are hit or miss watching it now, but there are still a lot that hit. Uncle Rico is amazing, and I wish he got his own spin off. The opening credits are a core memory for me and have done something to my brain I cannot comprehend. It's like visual ASMR. I don't know. Like, for real, someone needs to study those opening credits, please. All in all, it ain't the movie it was 15 years ago, but I would recommend.
There you go, folks. So yeah, he would
There
be
you
a
have it.
recommend. And apparently it is a core movie for him.
I feel like Superbad's credits are pretty similar or in a somewhat similar vein.
Yeah, I think again, I think it kind of falls into that there were so many imitators after this as well too. That's not really something
Yeah.
we addressed a whole lot in kind of our review, but like it really did kick off a whole lot of kind of subgenre in comedy of, again, that very low stakes, like almost it felt improvisational, like script and that kind of thing, and just like being very much a character and almost playing it natural and playing it straight the whole time as well too, and very low budget, and I feel like that was something that was super present in comedy and pop culture for a while after that as well. Yeah, and again, I think there's something for it to be said that like it was that PG movie, so you could be like Adam's age and be 5 or 6, and your parents would let you watch it as well too. So it was like something where that everyone kind of, again, soaked up through pop culture. So with that, Adam also included his ranking on the Entropy list. So he's got it at 124, which would be, just for context for listeners, that would be below Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem and above Ferrari, a recent addition to the Entropy list as well too, which I think is interesting. I kind of expected him to have it higher, but
Yeah, I probably agree with you.
yeah, I haven't even got to like look at the list itself here, but like, again, looking at the list, maybe he's not too wrong there. I don't know how much higher I would go with it overall. Like, I think, as we've talked, it is a movie I like a lot, but it's not a movie I love. It's not a DNA movie for me, or one that I rewatch often, as I think we've talked about. The way like a Tokyo Drift, or a Top Gun,
right,
or A Knight's Tale, or something like that.
So let me ask you this then.
Okay.
Do you, when kind of looking at this, comparing, how do you feel about this against Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
I like Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a
Right.
movie I like way more than this. At the end of the day, like, if you gave me if you're giving me an option between the two of them, I'm probably picking Forgetting Sarah Marshall every time.
Gun to your head, gun to your balls.
Yeah. But I like it more than the new Mortal Kombat. Like,
Sure, right,
you know,
right. Yeah,
and
probably more than Lightyear as well.
Adam's sliding in there 124. What's throwing me off there is the Blind Spotting and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because those are actually both, I think, really good. Ferrari was good too. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it was still good. I'm gonna put it at, I'm gonna put it at 132. I'm gonna put it above Mortal Kombat. What was that, 2019 or whatever that was, and below Candyman.
Yep, I think 21, I believe.
You're gonna go 121?
No, I was just giving you the year for MK.
Oh, sorry.
2021.
Yeah. So yeah, I will have it at number 133.
33. Okay. So below Mortal Kombat. Well, excuse me, above Candyman. Excuse me, above Mortal Kombat, below Candyman.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, fellas, this one's a little tough for me. I do think everything under 147 is objectively bad for the most part.
Under which one? 147.
147 is like objectively bad, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so I don't think I'm that far down,
No.
right? To be transparent, that's why I'm like, all right, I think I like this. One's above. Then I'm kind of scrolling, then I see like King of Monsters, big Godzilla guy. That's kind of
who put the Flash at
impactful to me.
139? Was that because of Adam?
Yeah, I don't know. That was
bad.
That's a little too high.
That hurts my heart a little bit.
Yeah. And then there's the Godzilla vs. Kong, forgetting Sarah Marshall. But I think like the forgetting Sarah Marshall is like the immediate close call I have of like 2000s comedies.
Okay.
Right. And like I simply do not like this more than forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I mean, I agree.
Right. It's like, yeah. So that's one where I'm like, ooh, that may be my cap. So yeah, I think that's my cap. Then I see like A Quiet Place. I'm actually not that down on, to be honest with you.
Sure.
Certainly not as good as the first one, but like, not horrible. I think I'll slot at 139. So I'll do it. I'll go above the Flash.
Good.
Because that was not good.
That was not good.
And then I will put it below A Quiet Place Part.
All right. Tyler, where you got it?
You can't handle the truth.
I'm ready for the truth, bro. What you got?
I am going to go a little bit higher than you, just because I think there are things that, can be swapped and should be. But I am going to be at 129. I'm going to split Ma Rainey's and Buzz Lightyear.
Alrighty. So you said you were which one? I'm sorry?
129.
129. I was 133.
I was going to drop this thing below The Greatest Showman, but I think there are things that this definitely belongs above, in between those two numbers. So
that puts us at 131, which means we would tie break it with Matrix Resurrections. Do you like this more or less than Matrix Resurrections?
Absolutely above.
You put it above, Tyler?
And Matrix?
Yeah.
Yeah, above.
All right, I'll complete the squadron, the trio here. We can put it above. So that means the Adam doesn't get a vote, and Napoleon Dynamite is going in at 131, above Matrix Resurrections, just below Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Some are what some people call, the Napoleon Dynamite of 2022. No one's called it that, but
you know how they used to make like adult films that would reference current films that have come out,
like scary movies.
Yeah, or like even like there's definitely Star Wars stuff out there, and
oh, you mean like porn parodies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. There has to be one, or
for
at least
Napoleon
you would think
Dynamite?
there would be one made. No, I was thinking for Bodies, 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 but it's called Booties, Booties, Booties.
Got it. Okay, I'm with you. I mean, there's
Still
probably
a slasher, but like it's Booties, Booties, Booties.
There you go. If not, I mean, you just gave them that one for free. You might want to.
I did.
Might want to trademark that. I was going to say
that is a wildly they make a lot of money. I don't know, I forgot, yeah, I didn't know how to word that. Yeah,
lucrative.
Lucrative.
Lucrative was what you were looking for.
We got it. Yep.
Yeah, that's guaranteed for you, folks. Booties, booties, booties. I thought you were saying Napoleon Dynamite. There has to be one of those, which
no.
I mean, that's probably a thing too, right?
You would think.
Anyways, that's the review segment. We can do a little what we've been watching. If you guys been watching things.
Well, yeah, we can touch on that. I'm rolling through The Last of Us still. I think I'm on the second to last episode.
Nice.
It's starting to. It's good. It started to slow down enough for me. There's not enough zombies in it for me.
There you go. You heard it here first,
Yeah,
folks.
So
Not enough
Pedro
zombies.
Pascal's awesome though. And the actress playing Ellie as well. I apologize. The name is blanking from me. But so them building their relationship and that chemistry is obviously very impactful to the story. So that is good to kind of see them take that bond on. But yeah, there's just I feel like you go some episodes like you either like may see like one or two zombies
Sure.
depending on the episode, and I'm just kind of like I like to see a little more of them because effectively when they're on the screen, it's actually engaging.
Sure.
And like the makeup looks really good, and some of the CGI as well. So yeah, it's kind of sad that you don't get as much of those. But yeah, outside of that, still kind of chugging through that. Then I think after that, I'm actually gonna believe I'm gonna finish True Detective season 1. And then I think I'm gonna jump on to season 4 because season 4 is airing live right now.
That
correct?
is, that is what.
Or is it finished?
No, that is what I've been watching. So we're
Okay.
up to. I think it is going to be 6 episodes. This upcoming week will be episode 4. So it releases on Sunday. So you are right in the middle of it now. If you can power through, you'll probably finish right around the time that like all of them will be out, and then you could just binge that if you wanted.
So yeah, man. We'll see. But how was season 4 of that? It seems like it's holding up pretty well from what I've been kind of seeing.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like I think it's
not season 1 though.
No,
right? To be clear, it seems like season 1's obviously cream of the crop.
Yeah, season 1 I think is just lightning in a bottle. I think there's definitely something that was going on there, just in terms of dream cast pairing, dream like meeting with the content and the plot and everything like that, and then also just having that one director throughout it, like who had that distinct style and that vision. It just all kind of came together to be greater than the sum of its parts in maybe some ways, and like trying to recapture that is just super hard. But I think it has been super cool. I like it so far. I think it's definitely a little bit like interesting concept, interesting location, and kind of like what they're trying to do with it in terms of where the horror is coming from and what exactly it might mean, and how people just kind of get a little weird after it's been dark for a lot of days consecutively,
Right.
and trying to live up there. Yeah, so I've been enjoying it. We'll see now that we're kind of like getting into the back half of it, if it picks up at all, or if it kind of gets a little bit more active maybe, or kind of starts to tie things together as well. But yeah, that's been it more than other than that, I just watched Napoleon Dynamite, and yeah, that was really it. Other than that, I think I've been watching some YouTube as well too, kind of typical on that. Did you end up watching anything about that movie Daddy Longlegs?
I did. So on lunch today, went over to Chick-fil-A, grabbed some food. Then I watched 2 teaser trailers.
Right.
For I think it's Longlegs.
I think it is just Longlegs. Right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was like,
for some reason, I've never heard the phrase Longlegs away from a Daddy Longlegs. So I was
for sure.
I just went for that.
Yeah, man. So you kind of shot me that bug, and I took a look at it. So yeah, teaser trailer. Obviously, I have no idea what the fuck the film's about.
Right.
But it's engaging, and like that's ideal.
Right.
So more studios need to take that train of thought and like not show me the entire fucking movie.
Yeah.
30-second teaser. Because it seems good, and I wouldn't even known the cast is there. Like I didn't see a teaser trailer with Micah Monroe.
Yeah, I just knew that from the posters. So they released they released like 4 posters, I want to say, recently too. And again, it's like it's more of that kind of like same thing of like there's like 4 bodies under a sheet, but it's like shot like a photo from like a hallway or something like that. Like you can't really see what's going on or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks interesting. And I guess it's directed by a guy named Osgood Perkins, who is the grandson of Anthony Perkins, who plays the Psycho in Psycho. So there you go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Looked interesting though, man. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in for a horror mystery vibe type of thing.
Yeah, it looks creepy as hell. So I'm in. Tyler, what have you been watching?
Leah and I finished. The heck were we watching? Am I an idiot?
Oh, well, real quick then, while you remember, Blake, I think he's done The Black Coat's Daughter, which I think you've seen.
Ooh, who watched that?
No, that's the same guy that did that is doing Long Legs.
Oh, okay, I got you. I see what you're saying. I'm
Yeah.
sorry for clarification. Yes, I have seen The Black Coat's Daughter. A24 horror, that might be like 2015, 16,
Yep.
17, something like that. And it's got I want to say Emma Roberts is in that.
Yep.
And what's the other woman's name? Trying to blank.
Karen and Shipka, is that the one?
I believe so, yeah. And it's got a pretty good twist reveal in it. If anyone hasn't seen it, maybe I wouldn't say it's like S tier A24, but I would say it's A tier A24.
There
for
you
sure.
go. So yeah, he's the same one that's doing Long Legs. So
Okay.
vote of confidence from Blake there. Anyways, Tyler, what were you watching with Leah?
The Fall.
Okay. Did you complete that? Because that's only like 1 or 2 seasons, right? Isn't it?
It's 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we just finished it. She had a blast. I had seen it previously, but I didn't quite remember all of it.
Sure.
So it was definitely good to get a little rewatch in. And yeah, if you're looking for a good murder mystery kind of deal, that is definitely one that I would highly recommend. It's 3 seasons, super easy to watch, quite addicting. If you have trouble with any kind of hearing voices and stuff like that, definitely recommend subtitles. It is British speaking, or in this case, Belfast. So accents can be a little hard sometimes. So I would definitely recommend subs if you are prone to that kind of, hearing enablement.
Sure.
And then the only thing I really got around to other than like football and, video game stuff was I watched another episode of Dungeons and Delicious, or I can't remember, Delicious and Dungeons or whatever it is.
Yeah. I watched that too.
And yeah, it still just continues to be really fun and new and stupid, and so yeah, I've had a really good time with it.
Okay. Fair.
But yeah, other than that, it's just been football and video game stuff. The huge.
The huge, folks. The huge. Well, that's been what we've been watching. Adam hasn't watched anything because he's not here, so it's too bad.
What a loser.
But next week, what are we watching next week? Do we have anything on the list? I have no way of knowing.
Yeah, let me see. Give me one moment.
Social schedule. Here we go.
Oh, is that the cat one?
Yeah. Gonna go see that.
We are rolling with next week. Oh, that's the Black History Month episode. So yeah, we don't have that set in stone. I mean, I can kind of pull something off the top. I mean, I know. I think Nathaniel mentioned Belly at one point.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's streaming anywhere.
No idea where that is. Yeah, that might be on Tubi.
To be honest with you, we could probably go on Tubi in their Black history section and just fucking pick anything.
Listen, they've definitely got a part of the market that they've decided to go for there.
for sure.
And you know what? Respect to them. Someone had to do it, and I think they're doing it better than anyone else at the moment. So.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I've got a few cousins who I believe that Tubi may be the only thing they watch.
Really? It's their number one streaming service?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's like, like I'm turning on Netflix to watch something. It's like, I think I'm going to Tubi.
It's respected. I love Tubi.
I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. They actually have a lot of like nostalgic old like kid stuff that, I grew up watching on Saturday mornings.
Tubi rules, man.
One of them's Metabots. I don't know if you guys have heard or have
No, I don't know
remembered
what that
that.
is.
Do not remember that one.
Before your time.
They definitely
Uh,
are the pick for like just weird things that you forgot existed, or
Mhm.
just the obscure movie you want to see, but just happens to be on there. It's always on Tubi. It's the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, I don't know where Belly's streaming. I tried to see if I could pull it up real quick. So yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Well, I'll have to brainstorm. Yeah, I'll have to brainstorm. Although, I mean, if we want to go to make it a full circle pop culture reference, there was one time, me and Nathaniel were at the store, and he was trying to help me pinpoint a movie, and it's one that's been like memed to death in pop culture, and it's the one of Wesley Snipes, and he's holding a gun crying, and then I want to say Nathaniel showed me the meme. It's like when the race war starts, and like I have to kill Tony Hawk.
Yes,
And
yeah.
it's like, and it's Wesley Snipes crying and holding a gun. That's New Jack City, which is I think that's one that is pretty good film. To be honest with you, I think that's one we could
put on there.
easily try. Yeah, I think that's one we could lump in there for sure. I think that was an objectively decent film.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite memes.
So yeah, I want to say that's Wesley Snipes. I want to say Ice-T is in that as well.
Yeah, I'm down.
I think Chris Rock's in there, if I'm remembering correctly.
91.
So yeah,
That would be a fun one.
really 91. Okay,
A
yeah.
crime lord ascends to power and becomes megalomaniacal while a maverick police detective vows to stop him. I'm in.
Is that
Wesley
streaming
Snipes,
anywhere?
Ice-T, Mario Van Peebles, and Judd Nelson.
Hmm.
Directed by Mario Van Peebles.
And it looks like it's on Tubi.
There you go.
So that could be our quick Black History Month app just to fill the void, and then we can work down the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th if there's anything new out.
All right. If not, Postpod Adam, we'll put it in here.
Hello, listeners. It's your favorite host, Postpod Adam here, coming at you with an update on what we're watching next week. Blake, after all of that brainstorming, decided on the movie American Gangster, the Denzel Washington movie from 2007, and that is currently streaming on Max, so go check that out. Join us for our review of that next week. Sorry I couldn't join you all for this episode. I had a bit of a busy week, but I will be back with you guys next week for American Gangsters. We hope you guys join us then.
But
Yeah. Cool.
Works for me. Well, fellas, I don't think
Works for 3.
we're not gonna do the listener mail or after podcast, or what is the word I'm looking for here? I'm lost without my show notes.
Postpod.
Not postpod, but the
Closing arguments.
yeah. Let's go with closing arguments. No 5-star review. God, that's what I was trying to think of. But we'll just go around and say
I like closing arguments.
the closing arguments. Please share the podcast with a friend. Share it. See, this just proves we need Adam here at all times. Adam, we miss you. Share with podcast with a friend, with a fat lard, with a llama. Alpaca,
my brother.
either or.
They may take offense to that.
That's true. It's true. Maybe you go down to the local Rex Kwon Do gym and you're like, hey, listen to this new podcast that we got going on here. But other than that, you can find us on Twitter and Letterboxd and Instagram. I think it's Back Row Banter Pod or Back Row Banter, some version of that. You can always find us on your favorite podcast catcher. And you can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at @NSGingrich, on Instagram at NathanielG92. Blake, where can the people find you?
Yo, Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. I'll be on there logging some things, rate them out of 5 stars. I have not played MK in some game. It's frustrating. They need to put some new stuff in there, so we'll go back to sharing tags, PSNs, I actually don't know what the PSN thing is called. Is that still a gamer tag?
I think it's
Or is
just a
that
PSN.
I'd still consider it a gamer tag, even
Yeah.
though that's more of an Xbox thing, and PlayStation
Right.
people wish they were as cool as Xbox people. But yeah, I would still consider it a gamer tag.
Right. So yeah, well, once I kind of get back on that, we're hash that out. So yeah, Letterboxd, BlakeHolder, be on there. We will go.
Did you say my name? You cut out.
Yeah. Let's go to Ty. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Letterboxd, Instagram, and X. For those of you that want to call things their proper names.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES.
It's still Twitter to me, damn it. Yeah. Thanks, folks. See you later.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's all she wrote.
Until next time, be good. What is it that I always say? Be excellent to each other and party on. We'll
There
be
you go.
RB.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Fuck it.
That sounds right.
And we'll be RB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Yeah.
So you had your heart ripped
Yeah.
out, is what you're saying.
Dude, it was bad, man. That was probably like the worst loss I've had. I mean, granted, like any LeBron's final loss is up there as well, right?
Okay.
But this one just, man,
This
with
one
football,
stung for you
hits
personally.
hits a little different, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a good team, and it hit different because they effectively it was bad, man. The Chiefs are good, of course, right? Hats off to them.
But did like the Ravens beat
And-
themselves? Like what happened here? I didn't watch it.
I mean,
so,
yeah,
like,
that's the easy thing to say, right? But I would effectively say so.
yeah.
Like one, they turned the ball over 3 times, 2 times in the red zone,
Okay.
which is like
Straight up,
losing
they
the
just
turnover margin.
they just
Go ahead.
they just went. I got out of downs.
No, so
Oh.
one was a fumble by a receiver at the 1 yard line. So
Oof.
going to extend for a touchdown,
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's
got
rough.
it hit out of his hands, right? Fumble.
Right.
The other one was an interception thrown by LJ Lamar.
Ooh. Okay. Also
Just
rough.
like
That was in the-
knucklehead decision,
That
right?
was in the red zone too.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the red zone. And then there was a strip sack on Lamar, which I mean that's hard to blame. That was just a
Sure.
great play by the defensive end. It
Sure,
was one of those
okay.
he didn't see the guy coming.
Right.
But to
Tip your
lose the
cap on that
turnover
one.
margin 3-0
Yeah, that's rough.
and like
You can't do that. To the
right,
Chiefs,
you're not gonna
right?
you're not gonna beat the Chiefs like that, right?
Right.
And effectively they were in the game because they only lost by 7. So it's like
I did see
man,
that.
If you don't do that, it's tough because like they outgained them for the most part. But I mean it's watching it, man, it was so tough because the Ravens are such a good team at running the football.
Okay.
They've like led the league in rushing the past like 5 years. And it seemed like playing the Chiefs, they were a little uneasy, big game going to the
Sure.
Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And the Chiefs scored their first possession. Then the Ravens scored. And then the Chiefs scored, and then the Ravens went 3 and out. And it seemed like after that,
It
like
was just downhill,
it got nervous, right?
Yeah.
And they were effectively only down 1 score the entire game.
but it just felt.
But once they
huge.
didn't answer 1 touchdown, it seemed
Right.
like the game plan was like, we're not running the football anymore. Lamar's dropping back like 40 times, which just isn't a recipe for success, like
Right.
for the Ravens.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, dance with the
yeah,
one that
man,
brung
it
you.
was- exactly. And yeah, they were down 1 score for the most of the game, and like they were effectively playing like they were down 4 scores.
Right.
We're like, if you watch the remaining game after the 49ers were down 17 majority of that game, and like they didn't change their game plan once.
Right.
Right?
We saw
Stuck
that.
to it, stuck to the script, and they fucking won. So tough, man. Tough. I think I felt how you felt watching the Diamondbacks lose, man.
Yeah.
Just fucking heartbreaking, dude.
It's tough.
Yeah, that does
Yeah.
suck. I was definitely rooting for him. I'm so tired of watching Casey fucking win.
Oh my
And
god, exactly, bro. That's what makes it even worse.
I'm tired of seeing fucking Taylor Swift on the fucking TV after every time something fucking happens on the Chief. Like I want to watch football. I don't fucking care about the ratings and who fucking
Right.
watches your fucking games. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. But the Chiefs are fucking good, man. Like, you know what I mean? So it's
Or-
one of those where
Or
like,
is Brock
I
Purdy the
Green
guy?
Bay beat them. Green Bay beat them. So I don't.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they've got a few losses, but it's when it comes to crunch time, right? Like watching
Oh, their
that game.
consistency too, man.
Oh, for sure.
They're just
Sure.
they're relentless, and they
Yep.
might have a 3 and out, but they'll come back and they'll fix it. I fucking hate watching them win.
Yeah, they never waver. They never look nervous, right? Like every game, they look like no matter what the score is, they're in the playoffs. They're like, we can win this shit.
Yep.
Because they've won them all, and I think you look at that Niners Lions game as well, and with the Niners being to that NFC Championship game, like 3 times the past 5 years,
Right.
they went to the Super Bowl 5 years. Like they felt the same way, and the Lions got there first time in forever, big moment, and just fucking shit
Fucking
themselves.
blew it.
Yep.
There's 4 quarters of football, not 2, fellas.
Yep.
Did they say?
So
Did they say that the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl like 4 out of the last 6 years? Is that what I heard?
Something like that,
it's- Yeah, I think it's 3 of the last 6 years.
Okay.
But
And
they've been like
to
in the
the
playoffs
AFC
like 4 out of the 5
Championship game.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, they went to the AFC Championship game the last 6 years
So
straight,
like 6 for
which is
6.
actually wildly impressive.
Yeah, I mean that is
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Like, is this about
We'll
the point
see
where
what-
you're starting
we'll see.
like, hey, are we looking at like one of those runs, one of those dominant runs from teams?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think we're in the midst of it. Although I do think it's coming to an end. I mean, I don't know, hard to tell because Mahomes and Andy Reid,
Right.
but like
Mahomes
Travis
is
Kelce
still pretty
is
young,
getting
right?
older.
Travis Kelce don't got a whole lot of years left in him.
And that's the key, right? I think
Yeah.
eventually, on their offense, the running back's pretty good, but they don't really have any other weapons because they traded Tyreek Hill. They have to find somebody else who can catch the ball because
Again,
Travis Kelce's got maybe 2 years left at a high level.
it's got to be
Yeah.
one of those things though, right? Where like, yeah, you'd want to go play for the Chiefs. Like if you're
Oh, for sure.
like if you are an offensive weapon or whatever that's coming into free agency,
For sure.
like
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
because Mahomes is
unfortunately
still pretty young,
nowadays-
right? Like
Oh yeah, Mahomes got fucking plenty of tread left on the
Yeah,
tires.
he's
which
what,
is a
probably-
problem.
He's
But yeah,
probably 28, something like that,
Right?
28, 29.
Yeah,
I mean, granted,
he's got plenty of time.
he's been in the
left.
league since he was like 21, right? So like he's probably got some miles on him at this
Yep.
point.
Yeah, I
But,
think
you
he'll,
know,
as long as Andy Reid's calm plays, man, they're fine.
Yeah, the other side of it too, though, is you want to go play for a winning team, but most of these guys also want to get paid, and that's
that is
why
very true.
that's why
That
a
is
lot of
very
these teams can't put a ton of talent together because they spend all their cap on 1 or 2 good players, and then you got to figure out the rest.
Yep. Very true. So we'll see, man. It's tough loss, but then I mean, yeah, just watching the Niners win too, it was almost as expected, right? The two teams who've been there multiple times year after year,
Right.
they didn't waver at all, right? It's like it's like in combat sports, right? It's like the guy gets like knocked down once, but it's like, all right, you need more than that to, you know what I
Right.
mean? You're gonna have to
Yeah.
knock me down a few times, man, if you think
Right.
you're gonna win this fight.
You can definitely
Yeah.
lose a round. That's why there's
Yep.
there's 5 of them in champion fights in MMA, that is, specifically the UFC.
Sad day.
It is a bummer.
Yeah, outside of that, anything else new for anybody else?